Hey guys, what's going on? It's Matt, Chandler Vanilla 43. In today's video here, I'm going to give you guys a layout update video. I actually didn't realize it was that long since I've done a layout update video. It's been about 7 months, which I didn't realize. So in today's video, I'll give you guys a layout update, a collection update, show you some of the stuff I've added to the collection, and as always, stuff I like to do as far as, future plans and such like that. So let's get into it. Alright, so one of the kind of major things I did is actually not on the layout itself. It's the control panel that I built. And originally I was going to use a section of the old layout that I had set aside to make a control panel out of. But I had this old desk that we were going to decommission, so I figured why not use this instead. And I kind of laid everything out before I took the desk apart, and it's going to work out really well. The biggest thing I had to make sure I had room for was the legacy base, and so I had this little, eye-long shape section. So I put the legacy base in the computer over there, so I can, do sound file work or whatever I need to do with the computer. So I have that all set up. In the blank space there, that's going to be where the Z4000, which is just off to the left of the picture, is going to be. I just have to get some more wire before I can move that over, and then I can decommission the nightstand that it's sitting on, because I won't need that anymore. Then off to the very far right is a CW80 that's currently powering some buildings, and eventually I'm going to have that power the trolley car at some point or another. I am going to end up grabbing the CW80, the new one without the cooling fan, just because the fan on this one's a little loud, and I would like to replace it with a newer unit that also works better. This one works, but I cannot actually vary the outputs. That's why the buildings are set at 16 volts. I'd like to set them a little bit higher because I have command buildings on this one that require 18 volts. They work, but they don't work great. So I definitely want to beef that up a little bit. And the throttle output does not work on this one, so it's kind of there. So it does work, but it'd be better with a newer one. So that's that for the control center. But I am very happy with this. I think it'll work out better than what I had before. So I think we're doing pretty good here. So I'm holding the camera in my hand here for this scene. But I just kind of wanted to show you the downtown Main Street sort of scene. You're going to have to forgive me about the building LEDs. I know they look like they're flickering, but they're not. Just the cameras and building lights don't like to get along after a while. But you can see a cool little Main Street going on here. In the back here, I'm going to have a road. I don't know if it's going to be a 2-lane road like I'm kind of showing here. I just kind of put the cars in just to see what they look like. And then I also have this small little parking area. I just put the paper down just to kind of get a feel for things. I don't know. I still need to kind of figure out and see what I kind of want to do. But for now, we have the buildings going on. These are all Department 56. A couple different scenes out of this. I think this is the Snow Village or Christmas in the city. And a lot of these are Dickensville buildings. They all work really well. And then of course I have the Home Depot. I got this for Christmas in 2019, and it's really pretty cool. I've got all the wood from Home Depot, so I figured you gotta have a Home Depot on the layout. So that's pretty cool. And then all these lights, these are all the Lino globe lights that were converted to LEDs. I've got a few more of these that are boxed up. I don't actually have room for them, so I'm gonna have to fix that. But yeah, for now it's looking pretty good. I use the Department 56 lighting kit that they make. It works great until you run out of the provided length of wire that they give you. So to that end, I went ahead and got a buck converter and converted it down to 3 volts. That's what these bulbs run off of. So I got these 3 over here running off of 3 volts DC, and they work just as good. You can't tell the difference. So they work out pretty good there. So that's kind of the Main Street section. I might add a couple more buildings over here. I'm not 100% sure yet. So I've got this area over here, which I still have to wire in. But I'm not sure. I might maybe add a couple. But for now, this is what we got going on here. Pretty cool. Another thing up in the front here that I did was I went ahead and added this curved switch and this little curved bend in here, which I don't really love, but I'm going to end up coming back in through here and working on this some. But I went ahead and made this actual passing siding now. This track used to end about where the end of that passenger platform section is, and it always kind of bugged me that I did not have a actual passing siding on the layout, so I went ahead and just bought the switch and did a little curve in here to make the track connect. I'm going to come back and redo this. It does not look good. The trains run, but I need to be a little bit bigger anyway for some of the bigger articulated steam engines, which I'll talk about later on. But for now, it does work, and I can run trains on it, so it gets the job done. But that's that for now. These curve switches work pretty good. The few engines I've ran through them, through the curve part, seem to work pretty good. The 10 couple driver engines like the Decapod and stuff like that, you got to kind of run them a little bit faster. Like once you're above, speed step like 15, they'll be fine. But kind of lower than that, they like to catch in short. But works pretty good otherwise, so I haven't really had any issues other than that. So for now, that's that in this front section. Alright, so now we're in the back section of the layout, and what I wanted to talk about back here was the switch that I got in now. This is a Ross switch, which now finally is what all the other switches on the layout are. When I did this originally, I had a couple gargoyle switches that were floating around, and one of them I had in the back siding here. It did not work. The little word of advice: if you're building a layout with Ross track, Ross or Gargraves, buy Ross switches. I'm not going to knock Gargraves too bad because their track is fantastic. Their switches, on the other hand, are not. Save yourself, the headache of having to buy Ross switches. Buy them right the first time, and you'll save yourself a lot of problems in the end. Because putting the switch in before this, I was running trains on it, and everything would get hung up and stuck. And once I put the Ross switch in, all those problems went away. So do yourself a favor and get yourself Ross switches if you're using Gargraves track. Next up, I want to show you guys the trolley line I have going on in the back section here. Originally, I was thinking about doing a third loop of track to be able to run another train on. And as I got into it, I kicked around going back and forth on if I wanted to do the fast track or do the Ross track. I ended up settling on Ross track, and I had to do 042 curves because I wanted to be able to actually run, a decent number of things, you know what I mean? Not just, run, my smaller stuff. If I wanted to run, like the Blue Comet or something like that, I needed a little bit bigger curves than if I had just, like 032 or, a mixed curve section. I needed, bigger curves. That was fine for this front section that you're looking at now, but in the back where I have the semicircle of buildings, it wouldn't fit. I couldn't do it no matter how hard I tried. The buildings would have to be really close to the track, and I would run the risk of stuff hitting and not working right, so I ended up just abandoning that idea, and I figured I'll just offload the track. But I wanted to do something over here, so I figured why not have the trolley car, which even when I started building the layout, I was thinking, of the two, which one would I rather do? And I tried the third loop thing, and it wasn't going to work, so trolley car was the next best choice. So I have the trolley car here. That's the Trippy trolley from Lionel. At some point I want to get a couple of the MTH ones, maybe one of the North Pole with the Christmas lights on it. That'd be really cool. Believe it or not, this layout is going to be a winter theme. I know it's Plywood Central right now, but it's going to be a winter theme. So I figured get some Christmas things for that. It's kind of the aesthetic I'm going for. But for now, it's not wired in or anything. It's just kind of sitting here. But I'll get some more track and have a, get some bumpers, point to point type trolley line. So that'd be a lot of fun. Maybe I'll have some, MTH stations or something in there, and maybe have it stop or whatever I wanted to. But so that's what's gonna be back here. It's gonna be pretty cool. I think that'll work out really well. Next up, we'll move into the new addition section. Buildings, rolling stock, engines, of course. I'll kind of show you some of the new stuff I've added to the collection, and then we'll continue on to the future plans section after that. So first up, I have this Lionel smoke fluid loader. This thing's honestly pretty neat. I use it every now and again when I'm, refilling steam engines. The smoke units on them, it's really made for that. I haven't really tried it with a diesel, but I don't really know if that'd be even practical to even try, because they're very small openings. But for a steam engine, they work really well. It runs off legacy mode or the cab 1L, so you can just move the spout over, fill the thing with fluid. Does a drop at a time, so you might have to lay on it for a little bit, but it does work, and it works pretty well. So I do like it. I have it mounted up on this piece of wood, which I'm eventually going to dress it in nicer than this, but I wanted to get it so that way the spout would not hit certain engines like the Big Boy and a couple others. The number boards are just a little set up a little too high, and this was a little too low, so I had to mount it up a little bit. But it does work, and I really do like it a lot, so there it is. So then in the back here, these are not wired in yet. I'm kind of playing with the placement of these things and just making sure I like where they are. But this is one of the Lionel double floodlight towers. Then I have an MTH switch tower over here. I'm just going to make sure these are in the right spot, and then I will run the wires for them. But I think this looks pretty cool with the yard here. Looks pretty good. I can store, ABAs, which is what my main goal was when I made this yard, was to be able to store these ones with the tethers, so that way I don't have to take them out and off. I can just roll them out as I want, and then put them back when I'm done, and it also frees up some shelf space. So pretty cool. The next up, we probably have the coolest operating accessory I think I've ever seen. This is the Lionel rocket launcher. This is the new one with command control, with the lights that work, the smoke unit, the rocket that flies off. Really, really neat accessory. This thing is just so cool, and a lot of fun. Really neat. I'm running this off the CW80 right now, so the lights on the side of the crane like to flicker, and I think that's just due to the lower voltage. But it does work really well, and you know what? It makes me wish with some Def Leppard.
This is the launch operations manager. Prepare for launch. Copy that flight. Prepping for launch. Tower, bound. Ready for paddle board test. Performance, Concord. How do you read? Read you loud and clear, Concord. Alright, give me a go for launch. Booster, go. Retro, wake up. Vital, wake up. Payload, we're gonna fly. Guidance, go. Ecom, go. Control, go. FAO, go. Network, go. Recovery, go. DEFCOM, we're go, flight. Ground to tower, commander has given a go on APUs. Ground team can confirm orbiter auxiliary power is up. Clear to go to countdown. Copy, clear for countdown. FTS is armed, performance is in startup and is now controlling. Performance is in countdown. Performance, flight, go for launch. Copy, flight. Go for launch. 3 minutes, 15 seconds and counting. All systems are go. Copy, go. Launch control, this is the tower. We're go for launch. Go for auto start sequence, start. Ground launch sequencer has been activated. Main fuel valve heater has been cut off. Fuel and main engines are confirmed to go. Auto sequence is a go. T-minus 15 seconds. Start main engines. All engines go for liftoff. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1. Ignition. We have liftoff of Whiteout performance. Decimal orbit entry confirmed. Congratulations, team.
Okay, if that isn't cool, I don't know what is. This thing is so freaking cool. When it came out in the book, I thought it was really neat. I talked with Ryan about it, and I honestly kind of forgot about it until I took a trip to South Carolina. I went there actually last year. Really enjoyed myself, and we drove, so we went down to North Carolina as well. And I knew we had to go to the Lionel store. So the first time I got the Trippy Trolley and I got the Super Bass B unit for my E7s. And when we talked about going again, I'm like, well, I gotta go. You know, can't be that close to not go. So I got some really cool things there. I got obviously this rocket launcher, which I passed up on the first time when I went through the store. I went in looking for something completely different, and I got that item. And then I saw this out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, I forgot they even made that, or it shipped or anything like that. So I was kind of thinking about it. I was having lunch, and I'm like, well, I should probably go back and buy that. So I did. This thing is so cool. I'm really hoping they do more, either military in space or just operating accessories like this, because it would be so cool. I mean, this thing is so much fun. I'm very glad I got it. Definitely money well spent. And then here's the item I went in for at the Lionel store. A buddy of mine, Dashing Dan Trains, he went, I believe it was on a business trip to that area, and I saw that they had this engine for, I believe it was 30% off, book price. Yeah, I could not say no to one of these at that price. I wanted one before, and I kind of just, let it go, and it's like, cool engine, one of these days I'll end up picking one up. And then they had this for 30% off the book price, and I'm like, you know what, I had to buy it. Was thinking about it as I was there. I'm thinking, well, he went about a month before I did, so I'm like, well, let's see if it holds on. And it did. They had this one and a couple others left at the time. And I'm very glad I was able to buy this. I kind of just, ran to find this, and then knew I wanted this, and so I bought it. And really, really fun engine. I need to get the cars to go along with it. They made the wood-sided passenger cars in the green and yellow paint to run with this. So I definitely want to get those at some point. But for now, I can run with freight or whatever I want. Very, very fun engine. Really like this one a lot. Alright, I'm actually going to freehand the camera for this next section of video, just because there's a lot of engines to talk about that I've had. Some of these I've had since I did the last layout update video. Just haven't shown them yet, and a couple of them that I'll talk about actually left my collection, came back, and left again. So we'll get into that. First off is this two pair of GG1s. These are both MTH Premier 3 volts. This front one here is a breakup of the East Wind set, and this back one is a breakup of the Beer Train set. These are so much fun to run. I double-headed these on catenary power, of course, since they have the catenary system. Really fun to run these, and I run them with the Congressional passenger set. Really cool. I got this from my buddy DJ. This is a Southern Pacific GP9. This is the custom run that Beth Marshall did, which I'm still waiting on the gallery cars. I really hope they come in soon. I have this, and then I have the Trainmaster to run with. Really, really fun engine. I did an edited sound set on this one, which I did a video on, so you can check that out. But yeah, I really hope the cars come in soon for this. Then down here, almost all this stuff is kind of new. This is a TMCC 611. I had the Proto one. I'm actually going to sell it to offset the cost of this one. Really, really pretty neat engine. Sounds good. It's got 4 chuffs. Rail sounds 5. Sounds really, really good. Then we have a set that's no stranger to my collection, no stranger to the camera. This is a set of New York Central Legacy F7s. And a buddy of mine, we nicknamed these the Dirty Whores. They have been in and out of my collection, I think 4 times in the past year. I originally traded these away for a PS2 Decapod to my buddy Sid and my buddy Burnsy. And so from that point on, they went back and forth from Sid to Burnsy to me. Sid and I did another trade. So they went back to him, they went back to my buddy Burnsy, and now they're back to me, and they're staying here. So yeah, kind of the whole, you know, we like to also call this musical trains. Just, you know, back and forth and back and forth. But now these are a lot of fun. You know, you guys know what these are. Nothing special. Legacy F7s, really fun. The next up we have a President Harrison. Now, story with this one. Had one of these at one point. I traded it away for this, the Blue Comet. I did not have the passenger cars for this, and that was why I ended up getting rid of it. That's because I did not have the passenger cars. So a buddy of mine, John, Retro Mikado, one of the guys I do the podcast with, was selling his Colombian cars. And ironically enough, those were the cars I wanted to run with this engine. So the engine was already gone by this point. So he offered me probably 4 times to buy the set, varying prices. And so the last time he said, I got an offer on eBay, but I'm offering it to you first. So I told him, I'm like, John, I think it's kind of meant to be that I buy this set. So I went ahead and bought it. Beautiful set altogether. It's a lot of fun to run this one. And the engine, this is actually John's Harrison. I got this, him and a buddy did a trade a while ago, and the guy ended up selling me John's Harrison, so now I have his entire Colombian. Such a fun set. Another fun engine here is this. This is a MTH triplex. Now, it's the 5-volt, you know, shell and everything, but inside is actually a factory PS3 board and whistle steam in this. I got this off Sid from Sid's Trains. He was the one who did the upgrade on this. This had Legacy in it at one point. That was why he did the whistle steam, because he put whistle steam in this when he had Legacy in it. So he PS3'd this with whistle steam. Really, really fun engine. This is a lot of fun to run on a coal drag. And it's the 5-volt, so this blue is to die for. Such a beautiful color. I don't think we'll ever see this color again. So really, really fun engine, and always a great one to run. And I'm kind of just blowing by parts here, but the day before I left for South Carolina, I got in this. This is a MTH Premier J. Winnie Hudson. I got this from my buddy Tim. This is the one with the white walls. I know it's not accurate to have this, but God, does it look pretty. 20th century I pull with this. Beautiful engine, a lot of fun. Alright, the next up here we have this 5-volt H10. Got this off a buddy Sean from Sean's Station. We did a trade for my glossy MTH Big Boy, which I had It was really nice, but then I got something else that was a lot nicer, which we'll get to, and the MTH one ended up going bye-bye. I got this, and then I got a Penske GP30 pair for that engine. Really, really fun Pennsylvania stuff. And here's those two GP30s. These are really fun. I got them double-headed on a coal train right now. The front one here is a Proto 2 3-volt. The rear one is an uncatalogued PS3. I don't know the story on the PS3, if you know who got it made, or just said uncatalogued. These newer ones say made for such and such hobby shop. This one didn't say that, so I don't know who this was made for. So if anyone knows, let me know. But really fun. So Sean, thank you very much. And then next up we have an engine. I've been wanting this for so long. It's not even funny. Matt Ratchford, thank you so much for this. This is the Lionel Legacy's die-cast metal Santa Fe genset. I've wanted this forever and a day. Ironically enough, when we started doing the podcast together, him and I were talking about all sorts of things. And we got talking about engines that we have, and he talked about this engine. So Nicholas Smith had the blowout sale. This was years ago. I mean, this is probably 5-6 years ago at this point. And they had this engine. I kind of eyeballed it, thought it was nice, and it said sold as is, all this sort of thing. And we were talking, and Matt said, "Yeah, I bought that engine. Needed some work. Needed I think one of the smoke units, one of the resistors was hitting on the smoke unit bowl and shorting it out or something. But he fixed it up, and he ultimately ended up dabbling in HO, and so he was selling off a lot of his O scale. He offered me this and the Pioneer Zephyr, which I also have, and a couple of other things. And the first thing was, "What do you want for this? Let me know, please." And he threw me a price, and here it is. Such an amazing engine. This thing is great. So Matt, thank you very much for this. A lot of fun. This one, I often say I rotate my stuff. This one ain't going nowhere. This thing is so cool. I worked really hard to get this thing, so it ain't going nowhere. But a lot of fun, this one. I really like it. So thank you, Matt. The next up, we have two MTH Premier set of diesels here. On the left is a set of Santa Fe E8s. These are also from Matt Rochford. I got these and a set of plated passenger cars to run with these. These are not the plated E8s. These are the silver painted E8s with the plated cars that he kind of mixed together. Beautiful set all together. Really fun. I got a video of this one running. A lot of fun. And then on the right is a set of MTH Premier Alco PAs. I got these from my buddy Johnny. Now, him and I kind of did a trade before I even got the things. Matt was going to sell me a set of Santa Fe F7s, the TMCC Railsons 5 set. And Johnny kind of threw out the idea of maybe letting go of these PAs at some point. So him and I went on a call late night, and we were talking, and ultimately this set of PAs ended up as a trade with between basically Matt, Johnny, and myself. So I ended up paying for these, but we ended up just swapping engines. These are a lot of fun. I have a set of glossy cars, the dealer appreciation cars that went with the DD40 that I'm going to run with these. I'll see how I like them, but I may end up trading them out for a set of City of San Francisco cars at some point or another. But for now, that's what we got. But these are a lot of fun. Very, very nice engines. dare I say it, easily the coolest engine I've gotten out of the whole bunch here. Such a fun engine. This is the newer release of the Visionland Big Boy. My buddy Johnny again, thank you very much. Fantastic engine. It sounds great. The smoke deflectors are the reason why I wanted this particular road number. Really cool. Definitely gives me Challenger vibes, though. I definitely does make me want a Union Pacific Challenger at some point or another. But this one is really, really cool. The smoke features are great. The sound effects are really good. The whistle. I use the Challenger whistle for this particular clip, but I think it's honestly my favorite of the bunch. I don't know, the regular Big Boy whistles and the Hudson whistle are cool, but I think this Challenger whistle just really, really sounds good. But so a lot of fun, and I'll definitely be doing more with this one in the future. Okay, now we get into a batch of engines that have a lot of sentimental value to me. So, story here. This T1 that you're looking at, which is a Proto 1 to Proto 3, part of the set of centipedes, which I'll get to later on, and then another two engines that I'll show you after these two are from my grandfather's collection. That would be the T in the KTMR layout. Unfortunately, he passed away in March of 2024, along with my father, who unfortunately passed away in July of 2022. So they're in the layout up in the sky, and obviously I miss them a lot. So for this T1, I told him a couple months before he passed away, was, eventually this will be mine someday. And so it's here. I love it. Fantastic engine by itself, and obviously the sentimental value, it means everything to me. A lot of fun, this engine. I do want to get a set of correct cars for this. I have the congressional cars, which are also his, that I pull with this, but I can obviously run them with the centipedes, the GG1, whichever. But at some point, I do want to get a correct set of cars for this engine. But the centipedes, they're half mine, half his. The shells are the Proto 1 shells. I had both sets. I had the Proto 1, and then he had the Proto 3 freight scheme. So the Proto 3 freight scheme, I really wanted a set of Proto 1 freight scheme centipedes. The freight sounds in the Proto 1 were freight sounds, and these were passenger, geared for passenger and painted for passenger, the 5-stripe scheme. So I went ahead and did a swap almost right as I got them, to swap the Proto 3 set, make it these passenger ones, and then the freight scheme set, the Proto 1. I'm doing a trade now to get them back, this time with Blue Nami in them. I'm going to give those a try and see what those are all about. I've never tried Blue Nami before. I know a lot of my friends love it. Johnny, Sid, all those guys, they all love it. So I'm curious to give it a shot and see what it's all about. So that'll be fun. And then maybe I'll end up converting some more stuff. So, but for now, these are them, and I'll show you the other couple engines. Alright, then next up here I have these two diesels. The front one is a Canadian National SD40-2. This is one of the very first legacy diesels that they came out with. This one's a lot of fun. And then behind it I have a TMCC E7. This is an AA set. I just grabbed the powered A unit just for the shot here. But this is another really fun set. He got this, and I always really liked this one. And then the Canadian National, he had a Proto 1 that he ended up selling for the legacy version. So these are, again, really fun engines, and obviously they mean a lot to me. There's a couple other things I want to grab next time I go over there. Just, again, a couple of mementos kind of sort of thing. As far as the layout, I know I haven't done a video over there in quite a while. I think the last thing I ever did was a shot of a Amtrak train and then a Pennsy S1 running. The layout is still up. I went over there, I believe 3 weeks ago at this point, and actually did a lot of work to it. We're going to be tearing it down, sort of. It's still going to be there. It's going to be smaller. We're going to make it smaller and make it a little bit easier for my little brothers. They're, at the time of this recording, 6 and 10, and they love the trains and all that, but you know, they don't need that huge layout to run on. So we're going to shrink it down a little bit, so it'll be kind of the same general size. Once it's all said and done, I do want to do a video over there, kind of showing, you know, what it's like and all that. So their legacy definitely will live on. Definitely, it's not going to be going away or anything like that. At least not this current time. So that's kind of the little update on that. But for now, I got these engines to remember my grandfather by, and my father. I'm going to grab a couple things from his collection. He was a big chassis fan, and almost to the point where of it being an obsession. He has a lot of chassis stuff, and he told me I could have a couple things before he passed, and so I need to just bring those over here, and then I'll be sure to definitely do a video on that, and probably all these other engines, because they're all a lot of fun, but you know, they obviously mean a lot to me. No, that's that. So more stuff will be coming on that in the future, but I just wanted to show you these engines here. Okay, now that we got all the new additions done up, I just wanted to show you one thing that I want to do besides, you know, wiring and scenery at some point, is this little curve where this 072 section is. And it's to fix a problem that I found out. You know, every layout has its problems, of course, and mine is no exception. So I have this curve right up here where this coal train's sitting, and unfortunately I have a problem, and that is the bigger engines, you know, the Challenger, the big boy. This one curve just right here, it'll hit what's on the other track. All the other curves are fine, just this one here is just a little close. So what I'm going to do is, on this passing side, I'm going to put a switch either here or here, wherever it ends up laying, and then putting one of those curve switches, one of the bigger curve switches, in the back where that 072 is, and then that way I won't have to worry about this curve. I can just bypass it completely, and that'll be that. Then I can do, you know, all kinds of cool little shots, you know, like, you know, down like this, and you know, things like this and such. So that'd be pretty cool, but that'll be in due time. But then that way I can run, you know, two articulators next to each other, which is always fun to do. The smaller ones, like the Class A, they're fine. I haven't had any issues there, but the bigger ones is where you're starting to run into problems. But that's that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this layout update video. I know there's not a ton of progress, but you know what? We'll get there at some point. But I am very happy with the things I've done over the past 7 months. I can't believe it was that long. But for now, that's it. So I'll end this video by running a couple trains around, and then I'll definitely be sure to do more videos on a lot of these engines that I got in at some point in the future. So take good care. Thanks for watching, and
Now departing for Cincinnati on track 1, train number 41, the Cincinnati Limited.